The most disturbing aspect of this case isn't just that photographer Ronald Sisman and 20-year-old college student Elizabeth Plotzman were brutally executed in their Manhattan apartment on Halloween night 1981. It's that the infamous Son of Sam killer, David Berkowitz, had allegedly predicted their murders months before they happened, claiming from his prison cell that a satanic cult would kill Sisman to silence him forever. What appeared to be a random double homicide became the center of one of the most controversial conspiracy theories in true crime history, with investigative journalist Maury Terry spending decades trying to prove that the Son of Sam murders were not the work of a lone gunman, but part of a nationwide satanic cult's reign of terror. This is the story of two young lives cut short and the dark web of conspiracy that may have led to their deaths. Viewer discretion is advised. If you're fascinated by unsolved mysteries and conspiracy theories that challenge official narratives, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel with notifications turned on for more shocking investigations like this one. Ronald Sisman was a 31-year-old freelance photographer living in Manhattan in 1981, trying to make his mark in the competitive world of New York photography. He specialized in various types of photography work, from artistic projects to more commercial assignments, and was known for his willingness to take on unconventional or edgy projects that other photographers might avoid. Sisman lived in a small apartment on East 42nd Street, where he had set up a makeshift studio and darkroom for his work. Elizabeth Plotzman was a bright 20-year-old student at Smith College who had come to New York City for the Halloween weekend to visit Sisman, with whom she had been in a romantic relationship. Elizabeth was described by friends and family as intelligent, ambitious, and full of life, with plans to pursue a career in journalism after graduation. She had been looking forward to spending Halloween weekend in the city with Ronald, exploring Manhattan's vibrant nightlife and celebrating the holiday together. October 31st, 1981, was a typical Halloween night in Manhattan, with the city alive with costumed revelers and parties throughout the 5 boroughs. Ronald and Elizabeth had spent the evening together, possibly attending Halloween parties or simply enjoying each other's company in the apartment. Neighbors later reported that they had heard no unusual sounds or disturbances from the couple's apartment during the evening, suggesting that whatever happened occurred quickly and without warning. The couple's plans for a fun Halloween weekend were about to be shattered by an act of violence so brutal and calculated that it would leave investigators baffled for decades. What made the case even more mysterious was the complete lack of obvious motive. Ronald wasn't known to have enemies. Elizabeth was just visiting from college, and there seemed to be no reason why anyone would want to harm either of them. On the morning of November 1st, 1981, concerned friends who hadn't heard from Ronald or Elizabeth went to check on them at the apartment. What they discovered was a scene of horrific violence that would haunt investigators for years to come. Both Ronald Sisman and Elizabeth Plotzman had been beaten and shot execution-style in the head, their bodies left in the apartment in what appeared to be a professional hit. The crime scene revealed several disturbing details that suggested this was not a random burglary gone wrong. The apartment had been completely ransacked, with furniture overturned, drawers pulled out, and belongings scattered throughout the rooms. However, despite the apparent search, nothing of obvious value appeared to be missing. Cameras, photography equipment, and other valuables were left behind, suggesting that the killers were looking for something specific rather than items they could sell. The execution-style nature of the murders immediately caught the attention of NYPD detectives, who recognized the professional manner in which the killings had been carried out. Both victims had been shot in the head at close range, and the lack of defensive wounds suggested they had been surprised or overpowered quickly. The thorough ransacking of the apartment indicated that the killers had spent considerable time searching for something, but what that something was remained a mystery. Investigators began looking into Ronald Sisman's background and work. trying to determine if his photography assignments might have put him in contact with dangerous individuals, or if he might have photographed something that someone wanted to keep secret. However, their investigation was about to take a bizarre turn that would connect the case to one of the most famous serial killers in American history. Several months before the murders, David Berkowitz, the infamous son of Sam killer who had terrorized New York City in 1976 and 1977, had made a startling claim from his prison cell. Berkowitz told investigators and journalists that he had not acted alone during his killing spree, but had been part of a satanic cult that orchestrated the murders. More shocking still, he claimed that a photographer named Ronald Sisman had somehow obtained video footage of one of the Son of Sam shootings, and that the cult would eventually kill Sisman to silence him. At the time, Berkowitz's claims were largely dismissed as the ravings of a mentally disturbed killer seeking attention or trying to shift blame for his crimes. However, when Ronald Sisman was found murdered exactly as Berkowitz had predicted, some investigators began to wonder if there might be more to the story than they had initially believed. The timing and manner of the murders seemed too coincidental to ignore. Investigative journalist Maury Terry became obsessed with the Sisman-Plotzman murders and their potential connection to the Son of Sam case. Terry had been investigating Berkowitz's claims about a satanic cult for years, and the Sisman murders seemed to provide potential validation for the conspiracy theory he had been developing. Terry spent decades researching the case, interviewing witnesses, and gathering evidence that he believed proved the existence of a nationwide satanic cult responsible for multiple murders. In his book, The Ultimate Evil, Terry presented a detailed argument that the Son of Sam murders were part of a larger conspiracy involving a satanic cult with connections across the country. According to Terry's theory, Ronald Sisman had somehow obtained evidence of the cult's activities, possibly through his photography work, and had been marked for death as a result. The brutal murders of Sisman and Plotzman were, in Terry's view, a cult hit designed to eliminate a potential witness and send a message to others who might threaten the organization. Terry's investigation uncovered several disturbing connections and coincidences that seemed to support his theory. He found evidence of occult activity in the areas where some of the Son of Sam attacks had occurred, including reports of animal sacrifices and satanic rituals in parks near the crime scenes. He also discovered that several of the Son of Sam attacks had occurred on dates that held significance in satanic calendars, including Halloween and other occult holidays. However, Terry's theories were met with skepticism from law enforcement and many in the true crime community. Critics argued that Terry was seeing patterns where none existed and that his evidence was largely circumstantial. The NYPD maintained that Berkowitz had acted alone and that there was no credible evidence of a satanic cult conspiracy. Nevertheless, some investigators privately admitted that certain aspects of the Son of Sam case had never been fully explained. The official investigation into the Sisman-Plotzman murders made little progress, with detectives unable to identify any solid suspects or establish a clear motive for the killings. The case gradually went cold, joining the thousands of other unsolved murders in New York City's files. However, the connection to the Son of Sam case and Maury Terry's ongoing investigation kept the case in the public eye, with true crime enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists continuing to debate the possible cult connection. In recent years, the case has gained renewed attention through documentaries and podcasts that have examined Terry's theories and the evidence he collected over decades of investigation. While most experts remain skeptical of the satanic cult theory, some acknowledge that certain aspects of both the Son of Sam case and the Sisman-Plotzman murders remain unexplained and worthy of further investigation. The murders of Ronald Sisman and Elizabeth Plotzman remain officially unsolved more than 4 decades after they occurred. The case represents one of the most intriguing intersections of true crime and conspiracy theory, raising questions about the nature of evil and the possibility that some crimes are connected in ways that law enforcement may never fully understand. Whether the murders were the result of a satanic cult conspiracy or simply a tragic case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time may never be known. For the families of Ronald Sisman and Elizabeth Plotzman, the lack of resolution has been devastating. Two young people with their whole lives ahead of them were brutally murdered, and their killers have never been brought to justice. The conspiracy theories and speculation surrounding their deaths, while fascinating to some, have added an additional layer of pain for those who love them and simply want answers about what happened on that Halloween night in 1981. If you found this investigation into one of New York's most mysterious double murders as compelling and disturbing as we did, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel with notifications turned on. We explore the most puzzling unsolved cases and examine the conspiracy theories that sometimes emerge from tragedy. Your support helps us continue investigating these important cases and examining the evidence that challenges official narratives. Until next time, remember that some mysteries are more complex than they appear, and sometimes the truth may be stranger and more disturbing than we can imagine.